I think one of the biggest thing I've learned through partnership is that having a vision does not automatically make someone a leader. And I had to learn that the hard way. Let me explain. Let me share with you one of the biggest mistakes I made as an entrepreneur. It was choosing the wrong partner. And the thing is, at the time, I didn't even fully understand why it was a wrong fit. I knew how to run a business on my own, but running something with someone, that was a completely different dynamic. And honestly, I wasn't even clear on what I needed, not just in business, but in how I worked as a person. And I see a lot of founders do this. People go into partnerships without being clear on a few things: their values, how they actually operate, and the role they naturally take in a business. Because when you're not clear on those things, you start adjusting yourself to the other person. Or even worse, you start shrinking your role to make it work. So the real question becomes, does this person actually align with how you work? Because if they don't, you stop building together and start operating against each other. And looking back, that completely changed the way I see partnership. I remember reading that something like 65% of startups fail because of co-founder conflicts. And after experiencing it myself, that number does not surprise me at all. Because the reality is, a lot of founders spend so much time focusing on the vision that they don't pay attention enough to the dynamic behind it. And that dynamic affects everything. How decisions get made, how pressure gets handled, how the team functions, even how people communicate with each other. So if I can go back and give myself advice before entering the partnership, there's a few things that I would pay more attention to. First, how someone handles pressure. Because when things are going well, almost anyone can seem easy to work with. But pressure changes people. Delays, money issues, disagreements. And that's when you really see how someone communicates, how they lead, and how they treat people around them. Second, clarity in roles. Not vague roles, clear ones. Because when two people are constantly stepping into the same space, tension builds fast. And eventually, someone starts feeling pushed aside. And third, how they make decisions. Not just the decisions themselves, but how they move through them. Are they collaborative, reactive, controlling? Because those things shape the entire environment around the business. And honestly, that dynamic can either strengthen the business or slowly drain everyone inside it. I think one of the biggest things I've learned through partnership is that having a vision does not automatically make someone a leader. And I had to learn that the hard way. Let me explain. I was in a partnership where in the beginning, I kind of allowed the other person to fully take the lead. It was a new industry, and he also came in with the vision. I was a co-founder. And also partially because I wasn't fully clear yet on my own values, my role, or even what I needed in a partnership. And at first it looked like partnership, a lot of direction, a lot of pressure, a lot of control. But over time, I realized we weren't actually building a strong team environment. And that's where things slowly started to fall apart. Because my strength was never really in controlling people. It was in building teams, creating structure, bringing people together, making things flow. But inside that dynamic, those strengths were getting minimized. And after a while, I didn't even feel like a partner anymore. I felt like an employee inside something I helped build. And whenever I naturally stepped into leadership and things started to move better, that created tension too. Because our roles were never really clear from the beginning. Neither were our strengths. And when those things aren't clear, partnership stops feeling collaborative. And honestly, that affects more than just the founders. It affects the whole team around them too. And I share all of this not to discourage anyone from partnerships, but because I genuinely wish someone had told me these things before. And also because the person you choose to build with will affect a lot more than just the business. It affects the environment, the team, the pressure, the way decisions get made, even the way you start seeing yourself inside the partnership. And I think getting that right starts with understanding yourself deeply enough to recognize what actually aligns with you. That's the part a lot of founders overlook. If this video spoke to you, or if you know someone who might need to hear this, feel free to share it, leave a comment, or subscribe for more conversations like this.